Gordon's alive.
Flash! Flash, I love you! But we only have 14 hours to save the Earth!
Hey, reflection, I really like you. Don't want your friends. Hey, man, I think it's pretty funny given who I am. Nothing can stop me. I'm living in a single-player game. Oh, you can't stop me. You can't stop me. It's a party for one.
Hello and welcome to Flashed, a Flash Gordon fan cast where we take the time to watch the movie Flash Gordon from 1980 once a week and review it and just kind of descend into whatever happens. My name's Alexander Peters and I'm joined by my best buddy, Caleb Dirksen.
Hey, Alexander Peters. I'm your best buddy, Caleb Dirksen. Me and Alexander are both sleepy time boys on opposite ends of the spectrum. Right now it's early morning Vancouver for Alex and late night Seoul for Caleb. So we're both, snuggled up in our jammies. But we're thinking of the skies. I'm thinking of the planet Mongo, and I'm going to dream about Flash tonight.
And it's a very it's a very atmospheric film. It lends itself nicely to dreams, so that's a nice little incentive as well. So you were telling me that you had an entirely different experience this time around than the first time you watched this movie.
I've got to say, I had a total spiritual awakening. And first of all, I think the fans are probably going to be so angry with us because I felt like I was way too harsh on Flash Gordon last time. I think I criticized the writing. I think I criticized Dale. I think I criticized a lot of things. And looking back, well, I'm not going to give my rating yet because that's an end of the pod thing. But this movie was perfect. And here's the secret. Here's the secret to spiritual awakening. Last time, I may have found it on a less than legal website with not very high quality, and I may have watched on TV, and I may have had my wife sitting beside me asking me questions about the movie the whole time. And this time,
Danica did see it with you.
The first time, and she's like, "Who's that guy? What's that? Why does this look so bad?" And I'm like, "It doesn't. You're wrong." And this time, I put the headphones on, I put the subtitles on, and I put the HD Blu-ray edition on, and it was crispy clean and perfect. This movie is amazing.
It's amazing what a better quality of it will do for you. And if you turn on subtitles, you catch so much more as well, because a lot of these lines are kind of mumbled away from the camera, and you just don't hear them. But then when you read them, it adds a whole new context to some of the scenes.
Just like, I guess, any old movie, the sound mix is always shit, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Because I also had a very different experience. Because this time, what I did was I ran myself a hot little bath. I had the day off, so I lit a couple candles, had some Epsom salts in there. I sat the laptop up and I pressed play, and I just kind of went through the meditative experience. And I gotta say, that colored space, the ambient soundtrack, it lends itself to that really well, man.
this is very reassuring for the history of the podcast because I was very scared that we would be driven to hate, and I was scared that we'd be driven to hate very quickly.
I was thinking the same thing.
But I think I found it's I gotta say it's spiritual. I feel like I'm this weekly viewing is sort of a cycle of death and rebirth. Every sixth day I die, and every seventh day when I watch this movie again, I'm reborn. Stronger, better, more enlightened,
faster even.
What stood out to you on the second watch? What did you like?
You, I believe that the first time you'd mentioned that Zarkov was your favorite actor. In the viewing, what stood out to me this time around, not necessarily his acting, because naturally he's a phenomenal actor, but as I was watching Zarkov do his thing, it connected in my head. This man is the true protagonist of the movie.
Oh, okay. Are you reading my notes right now? I have this written down.
You do? I wrote the exact. I have Zarkov is the true protagonist, and I wrote down a bunch of reasons why.
I wrote. Oh, I have Dr. Zarkov is the real hero. ... The puppet master. Okay, let's get into it because I can talk an hour about this.
Okay, so he's the dude with the history that ties into this story, right? He's the one who has his whole life leading up to the fact that Ming is attacking Earth. So he's prepared, he's ready for it, and he's ready to go. He's the reason the inciting incident happens. He's the reason they fly into space to confront him. If he didn't do that, this movie wouldn't happen at all, right? And he's subjected to torture by the enemy and withstands it, which is a classic protagonist trope. Like he recites human history and Beatles songs and stuff like that to keep his mind intact, which is heroic and valiant. And he's the reason Earth will be truly destroyed, because if he hadn't flown into space, then Earth would be spared, in Ming's own words. It's crazy that all of this is because of Zarkov.
I'm shocked by I mean, I know Flash is immediately set up as sort of, a good-looking blonde. He's an incredible football player. But, I mean, Dr. Zarkov is a far more, monumental character. This man literally survived the Holocaust, which is established when they're brainwashing him. And it shows, like Hitler implying that, he was... Well, I mean, he is this man literally survived the Holocaust, was right about the existence of aliens, then was blackballed from space agencies because he was right about the existence of aliens. But he was so, in touch with his own convictions that he built a rocket. And here's the thing. He was going to go up on his own. Well, he was going to bring in his assistant.
Well, he designed a ship that needed an assistant.
Needed two drivers. He was gonna fight Ming alone. Flash wasn't even gonna be there. Like, this is like Avengers Endgame. Like, Dr. Zarkov is moving the pieces around. Like, he's ready to go. I mean, he does say, "I built the ship for friendship." See, even knowing the existence of aliens, he doesn't build a bomb. He builds a friendship ship. This man is incredible.
A veritable friendship, yes. He's going to fly this thing into space and offer peace between the humans and whatever aliens are causing this. And you're right, he wasn't even going to take Flash with him. He was just going to take Dale because she's lighter. And Flash immediately assaults Zarkov, understandably. But it's funny because, definitely through this watch through, I'm looking at Zarkov with new eyes, and I'm like, pulling the gun on his assistant seemed less funny to me this time around, and more like, that's just how convicted you are to make this right. Your whole life has been dedicated to this, and I think the actor really sells it. He does a very good job.
He's got two of we always play this game, best line, and I feel like it's cheating because last time I picked the Emperor Ming line, I said, "Are your men on the right pills?" But this time I gotta say, well, two of them. Number one, he talks to Ming. He says, "Friendship, built this to send in friendship." I'm like, you are my hero. But this is what makes him even more of a hero. This is the Avengers Endgame coming out. Dr. Zarkov is carrying a revolver into space, and he's preparing to kill. He's preparing to take his revolver out of his jacket and, Boondock Saints style, execute Emperor Ming in front of the Imperial Court. And Flash says, "Don't do it, Zarkov, you're crazy." And Dr. Zarkov says, "It's a rational transaction. One life for billions." I'm like, this man is...
That was, just to put it out there, just continuing along lines, rational transaction. That was my favorite line of this viewing. Rational transaction, one life for billions. And the fact that it bookends the movie as well was just, chef's kiss.
before this year's out, I'm gonna cut, even if it's not that good. I'm gonna cut us an edit of this film. Zarkov only, no Flash, no Dale. just
And we'll just watch the Zarkov scenes.
just one man flying into space, killing Ming. And it's gonna be. I'm sorry to Sam J. Jones, but I mean it's not his fault.
You know, it's not his fault. It's like Zarkov is written as the. I mean, it's easy to miss it, seeing as Flash Gordon is the name on the movie and the man on the cover, and the name sung in the theme song over and over and over again.
Do you think he's this cool in the comics?
Flash Gordon or Zarkov?
Do you think Zarkov is this cool in the comics? I hope he is.
I hope so. Maybe I should read one or two of them to get a feel of what they were originally like for source material. Probably a good idea if we're doing this as a project of dissecting the film. But
Could be, we're gonna before the well runs dry. Here another good line from the scene, because I'm just looking at my notes now. When you actually read the subtitles, I guess I don't know. Maybe I was like, I don't know. I missed all these good lines the first time, but this time, what stood out to me again was Emperor Ming saying, "Pathetic Earthlings, hurling your bodies into the void without the slightest
so
inkling
good.
of what is out there. If you knew the true nature of the universe, you would hide from it." That's so good.
It's so good because and he has a lot of those where he just has something that sticks so well, and then there's just like scenes where he's standing there and says, "I said stop at nothing," and it's just kind of okay. That fell really flat, but he's got it's just really hit or miss with Ming. But when it hits hard.
Yeah, Ming is really good.
While I was watching this movie, I was in a hot bath, right? And I was just kind of, I didn't take a lot of notes because of that. But the execution scene in that environment with that soft music playing and the swirling skyline in the background and just the shots they use, it's very serene and calming for a death scene. And we didn't really get into this last episode, but after they arrive on the planet of Mongo, Flash Gordon immediately gets executed for causing a ruckus. He gets sent into a gas chamber, and the music is so beautiful this entire time. As soon as the gas is released, you see his body go limp, but everyone thinks he dies. He doesn't. The doctor that does the execution brings him back because he's in love with Princess Aura, who is a character we didn't really get into much last time either. She did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole scene was just, it's probably the most relaxing scene in the entire movie, is the execution scene. Which is it's interesting.
And it's very relaxing because you think maybe Flash Gordon will die and Zarkov will take his place. And then maybe Dale will go next. And it'll just be, Lord Zarkov, Prince of Earth.
What do you think Zarkov would have said if Ming offered him a kingdom?
Oh, I don't think Zarkov would have broke. Or
you don't think so?
Maybe, but at the same time, I think, Zarkov made all these comments about, the police state. He knew from the beginning. Again, he knew that because Ming runs a police state that everyone would be ripe to rebel. So I think maybe Zarkov would be a perfect collaborator. He would be in the front. He would be doing the Game of Thrones political intrigue.
Yeah, I see that as well. I see Zarkov less as a altruistic hero and more of a man who's been snubbed by Earth so often that he might be willing to take the bait and be like, well, I will keep them safe, but also I will show them a better way of living.
But we're being way too hard on this. I mean, this is one life for billions.
It's
Dr.
true,
Zarkov.
an altruist. Yeah, that is very true. That's very good.
I mean, and I'm not sure we can even start to slander this man. I'm glad we feel the same way.
I found something out literally seconds before we started recording. And I don't know if I'm the only one in the world who hasn't heard of this. You might have, but it turns out in 2007, a Flash Gordon, a modern space opera, was a TV series that lasted for one season. And it starred Eric Johnson, Gina Holden, and Karen Cleach. I don't recognize the other two names, but Eric Johnson, if you ever watched Smallville, he was one of the football players. He was like the star quarterback in that show. I don't remember the character's name for the life of me, but that was the thing that he was most known for to me. I guess he was also in the new series Pretty Little Liars and 50 Shades Darker, which is a bigger deal. But basically the series was going to follow Flash Gordon and his experiences throughout the different realms of Mongo.
Does it have Zarkov? Where's the Zarkov at? Is this from the modern space opera?
Yeah, 2007, a modern space opera. Zarkov was Jody Ratchicott. Oh, he one of the biggest things here is the Lizzie McGuire movie in 2003, and Final Destination 3. But it ran for a full season and got a 4.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
I gotta say, I'm playing the trailer right now. This looks fucking bad. It looks to me, it's like there's got to be a word for this, but it's like when you have a show, and it's usually like on CW, and it's supposed to be set in dystopia or future or whatever, and they have all normal people, and then they'll throw in like one like sci-fi artifact, and that's like the set building for the show. Do you know what I mean? They're like, here I am in my normal living room, but I have a laser TV. You know? That's what this trailer looks like.
I'm not watching a trailer. There's a scene of it in IMDb, and it's so serious. Holy cow. It doesn't feel like Flash Gordon. It feels like a teen drama, like the OC or something like that.
Huh. But also, I'm seeing some of the episode synopsis. Ming's troops are on a mission to steal ice from Frigga. That's also what intrigued me about this movie. Again, last time we hinted at the expanded world. This time I was noticing all these like little clues, little threads where
Phrygia is terrifying.
Yeah, lots of Phrygia talk. War on Phrygia, treasure on Phrygia. The Emperor's gonna send his daughter to Phrygia. So
yeah, that's like I guess hell. Basically.
Yeah, or like Winnipeg.
Little
Canada burn.
Yeah, hey, look at that.
We got him.
Yeah, it was interesting because like it's not explained to the viewer like these other places, but Arborea and Phrygia. I'm assuming I'm gonna learn more of them as we continue to watch, but those were the two I picked up on for sure this time around. Everything seems fairly hostile. There doesn't seem to be like anything that's super nice, except for maybe Princess Aura's pleasure moon, built for two.
And they also talk about the galaxy of pleasure, where Ming's love potion is from. Can we go to the galaxy of pleasure? I'd love to go.
It'd be fascinating because I would also love to know why Princess Aura knows her father takes a pleasure potion every night before he makes love.
That stood out to me too.
It did.
Again, we've talked about this in the last episode, but the some of the undertones here, well, the subtext, I think we can assume that it's text, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty up front and center. We didn't talk about Princess Aura much last time around. She's the daughter of Ming, and immediately she's captivated and smitten with Flash Gordon. and she needs to have him, which is interesting. But she orchestrates his survival of his execution and brings him back to life. Which, can we just say, Flash Gordon, if he has a superpower, it's the fact that he's the luckiest son of a bitch in the world, because he has his life saved on multiple accounts by outside forces. Princess Aura saves him at one point. Prince Baron saves him from the monster in the forest. Immediately after Prince Baron saves him, he's about to shoot him, and he gets saved by the Hawkmen, by a blaster, shooting Prince Baron's blaster out of his hand. And it's just constant. He would have died crashing into the field of lightning, but that gets brought down by Prince Baron as well. And it's just over and over and over. This man should not be alive by the end of the movie. But...
And all by the grace of Zarkov. Hail Zarkov.
All by the grace of Zarkov. But yeah, Princess Aura orchestrates his life, his staying alive, and gets him off the planet. And she wants to send him to her pleasure moon to be able to have her way with him. But I feel like there's a little bit more to it than that, because she doesn't take him straight there. She takes him to, what is it, Oboria?
Yes.
And gives him to Prince Baron and says
kingdom.
that he'll look after you. And I'm like, interesting. So obviously you're not a fan of your father either, if you're putting up his biggest threat with someone who might possibly work with him.
I can only assume that, yeah, because I assumed she had to make a quick trip to Aboria, a quick trip back home.
Oh, yeah, it might be a matter of distance.
Because they seem to be, like, monitoring her a lot.
There's a point, while she's bringing Flash to Aboria, it's revealed to Ming that Flash is still alive because of Dale's conversation with Zarkov, and Zarkov, who's been allegedly brainwashed, but he's also being monitored. So while Dale tells Zarkov all this stuff, Ming is now made aware of the fact that Flash is still alive, and he gives Clytus express permission to find out where Flash is and who saved him by any means necessary. And Zarkov takes this as the go-ahead to torture Princess Aura. So he takes Princess Aura and has her chained to a table and is torturing her to get information out of her. But to her credit, she's not breaking. She doesn't give away anything. She's like, your jealousy of me has made you mad. You have no idea what you're talking about, which I think is really cool. And then he says, bring out the boar worms, which we never see.
And she says, not the boar worms, father. No.
Yeah, and the boar worms is what breaks her. We find out later. So I was like, what are these boar worms? Why are they so scary? So I Googled them, because there's lore for everything in this.
Really?
Yeah. And boar worms, essentially, what they are, they're an alien worm from Oboria. And they're... what they do is they burrow into your ear and lay eggs inside your brain, and they go out the other side. So finding a way to weaponize that without killing you would be friggin' terrifying. So I can imagine the horror. I would not know that I don't like that at all. It made me very uncomfortable and ruined my bathing experience.
Oh, fuck, that's so funny. Another piece from the expanded universe. This time I paid attention. Voltan's daughter, Voltan, never shows up again. Her life is threatened in the beginning. She never shows up again. What happened to this girl? I kind of have to assume that Ming kills her in a deleted scene. And that's kind of what galvanizes Voltan. I can only assume.
that would make sense, especially considering the fact that he was super not willing to, and then he changes his mind on a dime. But I guess he did see his whole kingdom blow up too, so that's kind of an incentive, if nothing else.
Or maybe Dr. Zarkov killed Voltan's daughter and blamed Ming on it. After all, it's a rational transaction.
Puppet master.
One life for billions.
We had talked about the fact that, like, a lot of the weapons here are like, you have a bunch of blasters, but you also have a bunch of clubs, right? Mm-hmm. But the movie's so well put together, it even explains that. which I didn't even catch on the first time. Because Zarkov and the Hawkmen, they're talking about how they're not ready to fight Ming because their weapons aren't good enough. They need another year of preparation. So they're stuck with these clubs with only a few blasters. They're the only ones clubbing people.
So
Ming's
this is
men
a deliberate,
all have blasters.
This is he's deliberately keeping his peasants in the dark, in the technological dark.
Yeah.
Huh. I think
Yeah.
I think we owe the writer an apology. Let me find who wrote this movie. Screenplay by Lorenzo Semble Jr. Lorenzo, on behalf of Alexander and myself. Oh, he died in 2014. To the family of Lorenzo, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said the writing was bad. It's actually very good. When I grow up, I hope I'm as good as a writer as you are.
We are sorry.
Whoa. You know what else Lorenzo wrote?
Ooh, what else did Lorenzo write?
The 1966 Adam West live-action Batman TV series. That's why it feels like it does.
It does. Okay, that's fascinating. So, if you just swapped out Flash Gordon with Adam West, it would be a very similar delivery with a lot of these things.
Oh my god, and I can see it now. Adam West is Flash Gordon, is Batman, but then Zarkov is like, I don't know, Lex Luthor.
That's crazy.
Oh, Lorenzo, I'm sorry, buddy. I love 1966 Adam West Batman. So, okay, well then now we got to talk about something else. We gotta get into Bat talk for a second. Batman. There's this whole thing about how people think Adam West was dumb for playing Batman because Batman is like so goofy and campy. But Batman is by design. That series was by design goofy and campy. Like people thought that they were trying to be serious but failing and being stupid. But they were trying to be goofy and they succeeded.
Yeah, they leaned into that really hard.
But people didn't understand. So is all the camp in this film totally intentional? I guess it must be. Should we, speaking of writing, should we play our favorite episode game? Worst actor, best actor?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just to remind you, last time I picked Zarkov as best actor. So I kind of got the best one out of the gate early, I guess.
I picked Baron. He was my best actor.
For worst actor, I picked Flash. No, you picked Flash.
I picked Flash. You picked Dale. Yeah. So I'll start with my worst actor this time around. And my worst actor this time around is Ming's beard. It's so oily. It's a character all its own, and it's constantly bobbing back and forth. And I couldn't take my eyes off it at all the entire time. It was almost hypnotic. And that is who I put forward for worst actor this time around.
Very fair.
My best actor, I'd have to say, is Voltan. I just love when he's on screen, and he's always a treat. And I'm just so excited to see him. He does a great job.
I'd have to say my favorite is Dr. Zarkov is my favorite actor.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, this is going to be a running thing. You're just going to pick Zarkov every time.
Well, we can. Well, this is now Zarkov Fancast.
Mm-hmm.
And we're now, you know how last time I said that the movie would be like a little bit better if it was a little bit tighter?
Yeah.
I found a character I can cut. Anyone but Zarkov.
Anyone but Zarkov.
Anyone but Zarkov. ABZ, baby.
Yeah.
My favorite actor, there's so many good ones. One performance I really loved this time was, I don't even think he was named, the ruler of, he might have been named, the ruler of the planet that Emperor Ming demands tribute from.
Oh!
And the man says, we can't pay because, when you attacked us, you destroyed all our wealth. So we can't pay you this year because our people have nothing.
We just offer you our loyalty.
We only have our loyalty. And Ming says, very well, fall on your sword.
Without him doing what he does, because he goes to the front of the room, he pulls out his sword, aims at his torso, and then he says, let this be an example and he turns around and shouts death to Ming. Without that as like a oh shit moment, do you think people would have been as eager to follow Flash?
It certainly, yeah, like it certainly uh, kicks off the entire theme of the movie. And I don't even know who the actor was who played him, but kind of love their performance.
Yeah,
it's kind of like really
great
stoic,
job.
sad. I was like, there's depth, there's layers.
Yeah. He does a great job. He was a prince. I don't remember what the prince's name was though, because I didn't write it down because again, my hands were wet. But I did I was like, "Oh, that was very cool." And I really liked that scene.
I gotta maybe next time I'm gonna watch from my bathtub.
Do it.
Sounds really nice.
It's very nice. Get a couple candles going, and that soundtrack acts as the ambient spa music anyways, except for the times where it pumps up and then you hear Flash. But other than that, I will say did you say you're worst actor?
I don't think I have. I'm not even sure if I can say one. My worst actor is the guy who first sticks his hand in the stump and then pulls it out and he's like, kill me, don't let the madness take me. And I'm like, man, they just really picked up picked the first guy who auditioned, didn't they?
He stands so close to the chief when he says, I'm ready to take the test of manhood. He is so close that he has to lean his torso back and his head is pulled back. He's like, I'm ready for the test of manhood. And this
is definitely like a son of a director, you know, or this is definitely the son of a producer.
Yeah. He's there for one reason, and that is nepotism. When I started watching the movie, I was determined that no matter how uncomfortable the bath got, I was going to stay in it until the end, because this is a 2-hour movie, and no matter how relaxing that is, there comes to a point where you hit a peak and you need to get out because either the water's too cold or the tub is too crampy, right? And that is, I realized it might have been the way I was watching the movie, but I hit a point where I was like, okay, I'm uncomfortable and I want to leave. And it's around the same time the movie starts to get boring for me. And it's kind of consistent, and I'm dreading future watches a little bit when I get to this point again. Because right around what's supposed to be the big climactic battle that's supposed to be exciting, that's really dull and drags for a while, for my experience anyways. Like when Flash leads the Hawkmen into battle and you hear the trumpets and all that, and they start to attack the ship and get the ship under the control to fly towards Ming. That is the most boring part of the movie. And if you're only watching the film once, it's not a problem. But I feel like it's gonna be.
I gotta say that Hawkman attack, like the pacing, it's very rough. It's so slow.
Mm-hmm.
Baltan. I don't know why I can't remember his name.
Voltan.
There's some nice shots of Voltan like just pushing guards off the side of the off the side of the ship to their death, but that part does kind of take forever.
Mm-hmm. And then when it starts to pick up again for me is like right when Flash is sitting in the pilot's seat and Voltan's trying to get him out, and he's like, "I'll carry you," and he's like, "Rational transaction, one life for many." And then he flies into the thing, and I'm like, okay, now it's starting to pick up again. Here we go. But then the movie's over. So
yeah, then the movie ends like 45 seconds later.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a bummer to end on that for the movie. But up until that point, everything is just bangers, I feel.
A quick aside. Lorenzo, get this. When Lorenzo was 19 years old, he was a volunteer ambulance driver in Libya.
Interesting.
Is this during World War II? Yeah, this is during World War II. This guy got a medal for bravery in World War II.
Wow.
This dude's way cooler than us. Imagine getting a medal for bravery and then writing Flash Gordon and Batman.
Man.
Holy shit.
Legend.
Wow. I apologize for every bad thing I've ever said about this film. I take it all back. I'm in awe.
That is quite a storied history.
He was wounded in action. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm just on. This is Lorenzo talk. To get back to your point, I do think that final battle really drags. I think if I had to cut something from this movie, it would probably be there.
Yeah.
You know, we could trim it up a bit.
You don't need to tell deliberately 4 squads to dive.
Dive.
As much as I love those deliveries, that happens 4 times.
Dive. Well, you know what we do? We just go. We throw the film into Premiere Pro. We just go. We go speed duration. We just crank that thing up to 110%. You fix that.
Yeah.
You fix. It's not even that much.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. You know, makes the action a little cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of action, I love old movies where like the biggest violence they commit is like the back thump.
Yeah.
Like whenever somebody's fighting, and I push you over, and I thump your back.
And then you
you're
are
not.
unconscious.
Yeah, or dead.
Yeah.
Or Flash Gordon rolls through like a group of guards, and then they all just like collapse like they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
I love old movie fighting. It's so much more exciting. Now you gotta, you know, John Wick's gotta, you know, blow. John Wick's gotta walk up to somebody. He's gotta blow 6 holes in their head. He takes out the knife. You know, a little bit of dynamite. Boom, boom, boom. You know.
Yeah. If there's one thing I hear about people who watch the John Wick movies is that they think the action is just too boring.
There's too much.
Yeah, it's just too much of it. Give me some back thumps.
Should we wrap this?
Yeah, I think we're ready to go on this one. We've reached the consensus that at least for this last viewing we had, this movie is Zarkov's film. He stole it. This is it belongs to him, and he earned it after his lifetime of service. And honestly, it was Lorenzo's film because he also earned it.
Lorenzo, much like Dr. Zarkov, is an absolute hero, visionary, incredible. We love you. We salute you. Alexander, before we leave, we have to, of course, give our rating out of 100, our 1-sentence justification. And additionally, I'd like out of you a little bit of a preview of what you think next week is going to be like.
I'm gonna say my out of 100 review this time around. It's not incredibly interesting based on my last one, but I'm going to increase it to an 89, not 90, because of slow fight at the end.
Fair.
And my preview into next week, thinking that number might go down if I have to watch it again. Just because.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't want to go into it with any like pre-established biases or anything like that. A clean slate every week, but it's just I could already tell that last 20 minutes of the film, it took a while for me to get through this time. But I won't watch it in a cold bath at the end of it anyways, so maybe that'll make a difference.
You let your situation influence your score.
I did, yeah, I did. What about yourself?
That's the way it is. I gotta say, 96 out of 100. My only complaint is not enough Zarkov.
Mm-hmm.
I could use more Zarkov. I think in the future there's going to be. I'm gonna make a cut. Just Zarkov, no Flash, no Dale.
You have to take all of his deleted scenes as well.
And we're going to have to unearth those deleted scenes. And my prediction for next week, for me, I understand it's going to grate on you a little bit, but I think I'm in the honeymoon phase. I think I'm seduced by this film. I think I'm enamored. I think I'm going to fall deeper in love. You know, I'm head over heels. I got the rose petal glasses on, colored glasses on.
Rose petal glasses. Yeah, you know.
I got the rosy cheeks on. I think it's going to be perfect. I think next week's going to be 100.
Well, we will find out, I suppose. Bit of housekeeping. Thank you so much, Dwight, for the use of our theme song, Party for One. It's an incredible song. Check out their stuff on Spotify, Apple Music. There'll be links in the podcast description as well, so be sure to check them out. This has been Flashed, a Flash Gordon fan cast. I'm Alexander Peters.
I'm Caleb Dirksen.
And as always, we will see you next week.
We love you, fans. We love you. Hail Ming.
Hail Ming!
Hey man.